Mr. Peter Obi is already here. We want to welcome you, Your Excellency. I know you have a very busy schedule, running around all over the country, been scheduled so many times. So you are welcome to the platform, sir. I welcome every other person on the platform, and I hope today again we are going to dive a bit into precisely how to make Nigeria better, how to give us the best outcome that we're looking at for 2023. A lot of things have been happening. A lot of things are happening in the political space, and we are hoping that today we are going to have an open mic. But we have the honor of having His Excellency Peter Obi with us, who was originally supposed to be there for today, but I think because of his busy schedule, he had said he might not be able to be here. But we are glad he's able to join us all the same. We're going to be engaging him, and we're going to be finding out what is the state of things, how are they pushing, and how is it going. We're also going to give opportunity to as many people as willing to contribute or ask questions. We wanted to really talk about the state of play in Nigeria, the political parties, the Osun election. What does it portend for the larger election in Nigeria? Is it an indication of what could possibly happen, or is it purely local politics of Osun State that has no effect totally on what's going to happen in Nigeria? All of that we'll look at and we'll take the discussion further. Mr. Peter B needs no real introduction. He has been on this platform before. He has arguably granted more interviews and talk more than any other presidential aspirant that we know of. I think that can be corrected. If you know any other person that has granted more interviews and talk, media presentation, and all over, he's ever willing to communicate his ideas and what plans he has for Nigeria. And that is the spirit. And that's what we want to hear from all other contestants. And in due course, we hope to have as many of them as are willing to come on this platform, if not all of them. We'll have every one of them come on this platform to come and tell us exactly the plans they have for Nigeria. So, Your Excellency, sir, you are welcome once again. If you can unmute yourself, first we want to ask you, how is the political runs? What is happening? How is it going with you? First, the last time you were here, we were hoping that you were going to take Kwankwaso as your running mate. Indeed, there were a lot of moves, but all of that collapsed. How did you end up choosing your current running mates? What were the politicking that went on behind, and how easy or difficult was it for you to make that choice? Maybe we want to take that and a couple of comments about how the political situation is faring for you right now. Your Excellency, sir. You can unmute yourself. Is Mr. Peter Obi here? Okay, Olu, maybe you can confirm if he's on the platform, or I can see him. I just don't know whether he can. Can you hear me, sir? Okay, while we wait for him to sort of unmute and come on the platform and really speak, I think the real conversation, and I hope he can join us. All the parties have now settled down. We now have the presidential candidates and their vice running mates. There's been a lot of talk in the media recently about the APC presenting a Muslim ticket. Can't give a position, they shouldn't. And a lot of people, it has been a very topical issue in the last 1 week. And everybody is like, why should they have a Muslim ticket? And some other people argue, why should you bother if they have a Muslim ticket if you aren't going to vote for them in any case? So why should it bother you? In fact, they say the more mistake they make in quotes, the better for you if you are not going to vote for them, except if you are thinking of voting for them. So that should bother you. So is it that APC is your candidate? Is that why you are bothering about whether they present a Muslim ticket or not? And yesterday we saw the unveiling of the vice presidential running mate to the APC candidate. And what seemed to take the shine out of the whole conversation and has been a topic of conversation since yesterday, social media was on fire, where the men, in quote, men of God that appeared at that event. And a lot of people seem to be saying, these are not real men of God. We don't know them. They were hired and all of that. We are yet to verify. We don't know what the facts are, whether they are actually men of God or not. But a lot of videos have been circulating to say that these men are not genuine. Now, the question will be, why will anybody want to do that? What is the message they are trying to portray? That the Christian clergy support the candidate? And if that be the case, is that the way to go about it? What do we think? Why would they want to do that? You can only hazard a guess to say that, in fact, Shetima himself said they had 30 bishops in attendance. In other words, they were, I don't know how he counted them. So if he knew they were 30, so he must have either counted them sitting where he was, or he knew beforehand that they were expecting 30 bishops. So it is something that they obviously knew was going to happen, and maybe they have planned for it. So what is it, the message they are trying to prove? But again, leaving the APC story aside, we have other parties. We've not had much from the other main opposition party, the PDP, their candidate and his vice. They seem to have been in the cooler. There's a bit of rumbling in their party. Some governors are not happy with the choice of the vice and the whole thing, and we don't know whether that will turn out to be something positive for us. We know that His Excellency Peter Obi, that is here on the platform with us, has been visiting a couple of governors. The other time we saw him in Benue State, where he went to visit the governor of Benue State. Maybe if you're on the platform now, sir, you may want to unmute to tell us what happened in Makurdi when you went to Benue. Did you went to ask him to support your candidature? Did he agree? What was the whole purpose of the visit? But so I don't know if His Excellency can unmute now.
Yes, okay. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, sir.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. All right. Did you hear me, sir? My intro and all the things that I said?
Not quite really, because I've been having some issues with the connection, but now I think since it said I'm okay now, I can hear you and you can, of course, hear me, and that's fine.
All right, that's very good, sir. You are welcome once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for accepting to come. How is the political terrain? You've been crisscrossing all over the country. How is it going, sir?
Well, for me, it's not actually, it's going, how do I say, reasonably well. For me, that is what I'm supposed to do if you're involved in this It requires a lot of consultations, meetings, again, trying to learn the process, because like I always said, this is a time for everyone who is contesting to be able to go around, learn the country, learn a few of the problems. Because what you have to face here is that you have a situation where when people come into office, they'll start telling you what they saw when they came in. Oh, what we saw when we came in, what we saw. This is the time to see all that needs to be seen. Learn, even if not all, most that needs to be, for you to learn. In order to be able that when you start, you'll be able to face it squarely. Because you have a job when you're a leader. Your job is to find solutions, to solve problems, to show the way, and not to start complaining, which is what we do here. You elect somebody, spend years telling you what I saw when I came in, what I learned when I came in, what I didn't do. So you wonder, what was he learning, seeing, and while he was campaigning? So that's what I'm doing, basically.
So what have you learned so far from where you have been?
Well, a lot. Everybody knows what is happening here. I've done a lot of interviews and everything everywhere, and I've said it. And the basic thing is that Nigeria is not a productive nation. It has to be productive.
When they call me to pray, I'll go in to pray. I'll come back here. I'm taking a meeting.
All right, Pastor Ituah, we can hear you. You can go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Pastor. All right. Pastor, I thought you were saying something. Can Pastor hear me? Pastor? All right.
I can't hear you guys. Let me go out and come back in again.
Okay, but we can hear you clearly. All right, His Excellency, I just asked you, I said, so what did you see? You said, come see, come sir. Let's dive straight into it. You have visited, okay, you are muted, sir. You are muted, Your Excellency. Mr. Obi, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, you are muted again.
I think we have to allow Pastor to come in and pray first.
No, I think he's taking prayer in another program. It's not on this platform.
Okay.
He's taking prayer on another program, not on this platform. So we can just go straight into it. I know you visited Governor Wike and you have visited his very close ally, Governor Otom. What was the conversation? You were seeking their support, or you just wanted to find out the state of things in their state?
I have actually been visiting quite a number of states. Okay. It's just that the ones publicized as listen. Like I said before, I'm going around trying to learn, trying to listen, trying to also, share my own experience and discuss the problems of the country with various leaders in the society, irrespective of party. Because what we're going to face in 2023 is not going to be election that one has to focus based on party, based on tribe, or based on religion. It is strictly that is going to be, what I'm trying to do is to have a movement that will be able to take back and start building our dear country.
Do for you.
No, sir, that's.
So it's not going to be a normal political election. It will be a journey of taking back the country and be able to put it on path of growth
Well,
All right,
Excellency.
Pastor, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, Excellency. What is the Nigeria that you see, and which direction do you think Nigeria should be going? That's my first question for you this evening.
Well, I've been consistent on this, is that you have a country that is unproductive, and you must make it productive. In doing all this, there's a lot of components you need to bring about. First is that you need to deal with the issue of trying to unite the country. If you look at today, our cohesion is very low as a nation. We distrust each other. We're suspicious of each other. We don't trust each other. So there's need to unite this country, bring everybody into where people will see Nigeria as theirs, have hope in the nation called Nigeria, and begin to say, be proud citizens of Nigeria. And to do that, there's a number of things you need to put in place. You need to talk about the security of the country. But I've always said, once you move it from consumption to production, some of these things will start coming together on its own. Because by the time you move it to production and start creating jobs, start making it more prosperous, you start pulling people out of poverty, you start then doing a lot, because the more you can pull people out of poverty, the more you can reduce criminality and numbers of crimes and everything. So it's just how to, for me, is trying to do the right things that development is measured on. And that is trying to drive your HDI on the right path.
Well, you talk about moving people out of poverty in Nigeria. There's 10 million children out of school. There's about 60 to 70% of the population either not employed or not properly employed. The oil revenue is dwindling. We're importing almost everything that we consume in Nigeria. We are not using our resources. What are the specific things that you are going to do to move people out of poverty and to provide employment and production? You keep talking about a place of production. What are the specific things that you are going to do? People are asking that, what are the specific things?
Well, Pastor, let me take up with what he said about out of school children. There are not actually 10 million out of school children. We have almost 17 million out of school children, and which over about 60–70% are girls, especially in the north. There's nothing very difficult about investing in education. Everybody knows that the more educated you are as a society, the more your development. And this is a critical component of HDI, because if you take that the Human Development Index is measured on life expectancy, education, and per capita. So this when we talk about pulling people out of poverty, it actually encompasses in the three segments of HDI. So the more you invest in education, the more you can have development. And that is not a difficult thing, because you could see it that you need to pull your resources more into education, more into health, and build capital. When you talk about pulling people out of poverty, and whenever I talk about moving from consumption to production, because what I'm going to mention won't be as detailed as it will be Pastor, if we will sit down and have process of production or this as on its own, but just to give you a typical example, we have a country where we have sitting on a size of 923,000 square kilometers of land with a 200 million population. Our total exports, including the oil you mentioned, that we can no longer, last year was under $30 billion. That includes the famous oil. I will show you countries after country without exporting oil, starting from even Africa. Morocco. Morocco is a country of about 36 million. Total exports last year was about over $50 billion. Vietnam, sitting on 331,000 square kilometers of land, with about 100 million population, which is half of our population. Total export last year was $312 billion. Of this $312 billion, the natural resources in it is no more than 2%. The rest were manufactured goods. Of course, electronics was almost something billion. Clothing is 32 billion, which is more than twice what we earn from oil. Footwear and other related products were 30-something billion dollars, which is more than we earn from oil. So how could a country of less than 100, half of our population export 10 times manufactured goods than we can? So it's not a productive country. If you travel today from Lagos to Maiduguri, today, you will see the oil of Nigeria that we have refused to explore. And that is the vast land, the vast uncultivated land in this country, especially in the north. The vast land in the north is our oil. If you cultivate it, everybody knows everywhere in the world today that oil generates revenue than if you have a country where there's manufacturing, where there's agriculture, where there's education, everything, that you make more money. And you, of course, create job and create employment. I agree with you. The number of people supposed to be working in Nigeria is about 120 million, because we are 200 million in population, supposedly. So 120 million. But today, as of today, the unemployed is only 46 million or thereabout. So you're right when you say about 70-something million are either under or unemployed. But to do that, you need to do things differently. You need to look at unlocking your huge assets. And I can give you an example using few states. I've said it in every interview. Niger State, when they were talking about my traveling, is on the news that I went to see our former head of state, Babangida, recently. And I said to him, Niger State, which is your state here, is 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land. They can't feed themselves. They can't feed Nigeria. They are not producing anything for export. Instead, they are waiting to share from the oil, supposed oil money we're getting. When That is, they are sitting on twice the size of Netherlands. Netherlands is, if you minus water, it's at 30,000 square kilometers. And today, Netherlands last year, agricultural export is $120 billion. But Niger State cannot feed itself, including winter. They are sitting on 3 times the size of Israel. They feed themselves, they manufacture agricultural products for export. But Niger State cannot feed itself. It's waiting to share from the little money they're going to get from oil. They can't even pay the teachers. They're owing primary school teachers for about 2-3 months now because they're waiting for free money. So when I talk about not being productive, there's a lot that is happening. And the same thing is what is happening everywhere. Our Borno State, that is a home for Boko Haram and all the problems we face today, is sitting on 70.9 thousand square kilometers of land. In fact, Sambisa Forest alone is twice the size of Netherlands. So you can go on and see where the problems are. So we who can get all this to be productive, all this vast land to be cultivated. And in doing so, you will see the level of employment. You're going to do a lot of other things that will make this production work. Go and check what it means when you add 1,000 megawatts of electricity, what it can add to your GDP, because that will directly translate to production through manufacturing, through supporting various micro, small, medium enterprises activities, which has been the driver of economies all over the world. So there's so many specific things you can do. And these are not things that have been done in various countries of the world. I have been and I've studied at least 30 countries. And that is not different. All that is required is to have a team of leadership that is focused and determined that they can change this.
Oh, all right, Your Excellency. Thank you for sharing some of your thoughts on what you think you are going to do. I think the question is, there's no shortage of ideas, because even the current people that are there now, they told us what they will do. I think so. The real skepticism with Nigerians is, I know campaign has not started, and you have often said at different forums that, look, you can easily produce a manifesto, you can get professors to write manifestos for you and all those kind of things. But its ability to comprehend the real challenges that the country are facing, and you have a clear roadmap of exactly what you are going to do. So the question is, take industrialization, for example. I know you have talked about the vast land. I mean, some of us grew up in the 70s, and back then in the 70s, we had a lot of industrial hubs from the north to the west to the east. All those companies are dead. And part of the reasons they give today is lack of power. Yesterday alone, the grid collapsed for the 6th time this year. And you went to Egypt or was in Morocco recently to study how they got power right. If you come in, if you become the president, exactly what are you going to do in the first 6 months to aid power and get it right, since it's the engine room and catalyst for all industrialization that we are hoping to see?
Well, let me tell you, there's nothing you are going to do in the first 6 months. to get it right. I was in Egypt.
Okay.
The reason why I went to Egypt is that 3 countries of the world have deployed the fastest power in the past 5 years. Egypt, Vietnam, and India. Egypt have, within the past 5 years, 2015 to 2020, been able to move their power generation, transmission, and distribution from 100 and
So I'll be like me.
Yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, we're hearing you, sir. Please, every other person, mute yourself so that you don't interfere. Uwa Chinedu, please mute yourself. Thank you. Your Excellency.
So India will be able to move itself from about, Egypt will be able to move itself for about 19,000 megawatts to today over 55,000 megawatts. And there's nothing they did that is rocket science. All they did is that they had a focused, I said it again, leadership that had studied and known their problems. In their studies, in Egypt found out that part of the riot of 2011, 2012, 2013, one of the contributing factors was power. Because small business, they didn't have sufficient power to power businesses, especially within the micro, small, medium enterprises. These people were out of business and they were part of that disturbance. The kind of way I started in Tunisia, it was a roadside micro business that was being pursued for tax that started all the Arab Spring. So they observed, they needed to support this by ensuring that they have sufficient power. And they went into contract with companies, about 2-3 companies, with a target to increase their power. Their power requirement was about 30,000 megawatts, but the leadership decided that they must have 15,000 extra at all times. They ended up having about 20 to something thousand extra. And all they did was simple. Enter into a contract providing sovereign guarantee with reputable companies that can, on their own, source the resources that are required, agree the contract sum with them without variation, agreed time for delivery, which was 4 years. Most of them, like the plant I visited, were delivered under 3 years. And that's how they moved their power from 19,000 to 50-something thousand. I was able to visit the company, the power station, visited the company, sat down and discussed with the CEO of the company that did the construction, spoke to the financiers. I'm able to visit them. And I can tell you that I've gone from A to Z and seen that what they did can't be replicated anywhere. if you are determined to do so.
Right. Thank you very much for that. I can see a lot of people are itching to ask questions so that we can make it robust. You are determined to get power up and working, you will do that. Let's dive a bit into politics. I'm sure you have heard people say this, maybe you've read some of it, that elections are not won on social media. You have a movement on social media, a lot of people are rooting for you, but the question is, many of them are probably not registered. And so they need, first of all, to register. And then they also say that you don't have structure across the country, because what wins election are structures. The governors own the states, they own the structures. So what structure are you going to use? And we have heard you say that 200 million Nigerians are your structure. But sir, that is not reality. Reality is, I know that certain politicians control their various words and stuff, and you know this because you're a politician. How are you going to get those people off the ground to come on your bandwagon and support you and be there for you?
Well, let me first and foremost tell you the most important structure in life is the Almighty God. Right. If you have God, you have everything. Secondly, when you talk about people saying you don't have structure, when we talk about structure, we are talking about human being. Yeah. I have been a governor. I wasn't the owner of the people of Anambra State. I was just their governor. So it is not a question of when you say certain people own the structures. This is what we're talking about, is about human being. You, which governor is owning you? It's not so we're at a stage where I'm talking about Nigerians taking back their country, and you're talking about structure. Let me tell you, I'm talking from experience. I've been this. When I went to contest the election, this is not the first time this is happening to me. When before I went to contest the election to be the governor of Anambra State, I wasn't involved with politics. So even tell you, no, I've never voted. I wasn't a member of any party. I've said I don't have enough time on this platform to be able to say how I got up and decided, listen, what is happening in my state is unaccepted. I want to go and govern the state. And I use my own resources with the support of other people, joined a party. Of course, seeing what was going on in the party that is unacceptable to me, I left and joined APGA and decided to concentrate in contesting for the office of the governor. Everybody everywhere I went is that, where is your structure? You have no structure. Nobody knows him in the 21 local government. He just joined yesterday. We've never heard of him before. I moved around the 21 local governments. I campaigned. Within the 5 months of that election, I was able to move around the state 2-3 times, that I was known in every corner of the state. The people listened to what I was saying. That, for example, in 2001, 2002, schools were closed in Anambra State entirely. The children never went to primary or secondary school because the teachers were on strike, they were not paid. They were not taking work, they were not taking NECO. And I said, no, this cannot be this state. We had all sorts of issues. And people were saying there's no structure, there's no this. By April 2003, when the election was conducted, I won that election decisively. I received over 70% of the vote without structure. My party agents were ordinary people. We had party people, but the most agents at the pool were ordinary people who said, we want this man, don't tell us this nonsense. So the structure is the people.
Okay.
When I went to court, they declared somebody else the winner of that election. I went to court. I was in court for 3 years. It was shocking. The same ordinary Nigerians were going to court with me for 3 years. Everybody said nobody have ever had it in court. Nobody have ever become governor through the court. After 3 years, I won the case. I became governor. The day I was sworn in as governor, no single House member in the House of Assembly is from my party. No local government chairman is from my party. No senator is from my party. No House of Rep member is from my party. And I governed the state without these people for 4 years. So
Your Excellency, do you think you can govern Nigeria also without members of your party in the National Assembly and in the Senate? Because they are asking questions.
Whatever less is, as long as you do the right thing, all those things are necessary if you're going to do the wrong thing. If you're going to do the right thing, even them, I recall a PDP governor asking my speaker then, how come you people are so cooperative with Peter, even when you're in different parties? And my then speaker, I never told him, until you work with Peter, everything is on the table. All these things people say, oh, it must be this, it must be this. No, we just want people to come and put things on the table, do the right things. Everybody, members of the National Assembly want power, they want power. They want to go into their house and switch off the lights without hearing all this nonsense. We are hearing national grid, generation this. Which country in the world do you go? And they're telling you about whether they are generating. Every Nigerian knows the quantity we are generating. Every Nigerian knows about power grid. If you go to Ghana, go to South Africa, go to Ethiopia, go to Egypt, nobody hears about national grid. What they do is that they switch on the lights, it comes on, switch it off. But in this country, here's of things, yet there's no power. So everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants their children to be in school. We don't want to be hearing all these things where you're just, everything is turned upside down. To even unveil a vice presidential candidate, you're talking about whether fake or true bishop. We're tired of this nonsense. We just want to see things start working the way it's working every other place. So if you start doing the right things, whether they are from your party or not, you see, even the people who come behind you. And that's what we want.
All right, fantastic.
All right, Excellency, let me ask you this question. People are saying that places like INEC, places like the police, and even the judiciary are compromised, and that some elections, especially from the rural areas or the ungoverned spaces or places that have poverty-stricken places, that is the places people tend to control and bring all sorts of results from there. What is your answer? What's your response to that? Or what should Nigeria's response be to that? That the cities are okay.
The question
but when
is,
you go to the rural areas, you can't get there.
Pastor, the question is, the people who live there, are they buying bread cheaper? Are they prospering?
No. What it is that those votes there are bought already and they are delivered.
What you need is to convince the people. What you need is to convince the people in those rural areas that their life can be better I can tell you, I actually won an election in Anambra State in the rural areas and I won in the urban areas. Because what happened, I was able to go to those rural areas and got them convinced that their life will be better if I'm elected, and they insist that they don't want the election. There was a local government called Anambra West. Before I became governor, you can go and ask them, they've never seen road before. Not single, even a meter of road was constructed there. There was no bridge. You have to actually go into the state. You have to go by boat. And I tell them, if I was the governor, if I become the governor, you will have road, you will do this. They believed me. And they protected their vote. So it is us to convince those people that their life can be better. It's like what I'm telling people now. People have been voting based on religion, based on ethnicity, based on all sorts of things. The question is, if you say you're a Muslim, is there anywhere Muslims buy bread cheaper? Is there a road constructed for Muslims to pass? Is there a place Muslims stay without light? Is Katsina, where the president comes from, safer than Port Harcourt? So when these things are not, you find out that it has nothing to do with the religion. And another question is, for the Christians, is there anywhere Christians buy bread cheaper? Is there anywhere life is better? And they're prospering. And you say Christians are doing it, or Yorubas or Igbos are doing it. Everybody is suffering in this country. Thereby, it is time to throw away all these measures that make us do, and then go head on. Even if the rural areas is not working, those of us who live in urban areas should be able to check those who are inside there causing confusion and stop them. But this is the time to stop all this, take back our country and start rebuilding it on the right path.
No, there are two issues. They say INEC is compromised and that they will just come
INEC
from
is compromised, Pastor, because we are compromised. I can tell you this. INEC is compromised because we are compromised. If INEC knows that if they do the wrong thing, nobody will, they will see. That's all I'll say. And then they won't be compromised. I said I've been in an election where people said, listen, if you do any nonsense here, you're not going to get out of this place. And they're out for cover. But they're compromised because they can see a society that is compromised.
Okay, so what is the campaign strategy for the North? Because what we are hearing is that some people in the North say, over their dead bodies, must the Southeasterner become president of Nigeria?
I've just answered it. I'm campaigning there, and I can tell you those things are not. It's not the way people say it. And I've said it, Pastor. Today you can't go from Abuja to Kaduna by road. You can't go from Abuja to Kaduna by air. You can't go by train. Is it because the Southeasterner is president? No. So it's time to throw away all those things and face the reality. The reality is that we have a place that requires good leadership.
Okay, Excellency, just in a very quick short answer, and we're going to open some questions. I don't know if Sonny still has any questions. What are your chances?
Well, only God can answer that one, not me. All I can tell you is that I'm offering Nigerians an opportunity to come, for us to come together and take back our country. It's not about me, it is about us.
This is part of the change management.
Okay. I thank you. Just one last question before we open it up. You are campaigning, you are contesting under the banner of Labour. And people have argued that we actually have Labour NLC represented across the 36 states of the Federation and Abuja. Any plan to leverage the labor structure? What is the plan? Are they in sync with this candidature? Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Let me even tell you, Labour Party is owned by, was registered by NLC and TUC. So
Okay.
it's their company. I'm just the managing director of their company, of their party. I'm actually trying to run their party for them. Not run it as being the party leadership, but form a government based on their party. And that, for me, the choice of labor was predicated on the fact that you can't talk about production without talking about labor. The most critical component of production is labor. And so they're involved.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you very much, Your Excellency. We will go to the platform now. I am sure you are up to the task taking questions. We have quite a lot of hands up. Many people want to ask, and I can see many of the questions already, but let them ask. They're asking about restructuring, state police, and all the stuff, you know. But we'll take the question in batches of 4, and very quickly.
Well, I'll take them. It was Pastor only told me this about this program. I think it was yesterday or this morning, but no problem. I'll endeavor to see what the questions are. So let's go on.
We know you are up to the task. So I will take the first 4 people. We have Alison Kim Thomas. We have Kingsley Omokwale, somebody who is iPhone, and Eitemi Tyree. So I will take those 4 people first. Please be very brief, directly to the point. All protocols duly observed on your behalf. Just ask the question directly, and we shall get straight to it. So,
no
Alison,
problem. I'm ready for all the questions.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
my question is,
how are you?
I'm good, sir. I've met you once before, and I'm grateful for this privilege. My question is on security. I'm from Plateau State, North Central Nigeria. And if there's anything we've suffered in this country, the worst thing we've suffered is insecurity. My immediate elder brother was killed in 2014, and it's still paining me. But I want to ask you, do you really understand the security situation, especially in Nigeria? Because I remember former President Goodluck Jonathan was even complaining that Boko Haram infiltrated his government, you know? So I want to ask you, do you really understand the challenges that the security agencies are facing? And are you really prepared to tackle it by the grace of God when you become president?
Your name is Alison?
My first name is Kim Thomas Allison.
Okay, Kim. Okay, Kim.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So that's my question to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Kim. We'll take the next person, Kingsley.
Yes. Thank you for having me, Sonny and Pastor Ituah.
Number 2 is there.
Kingsley Omokwale. Kingsley Omokwale.
Oh, you're Kingsley, Mr. Kingsley. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much, Your Excellency. The question I have, I listened to you. I've listened to you a lot, and what you talked about electricity in terms of megawatts. I understand physics. I did it to a degree. So how does this translate to the man on the street or the small, medium enterprise or small business owner? Does this translate to we'll be getting lights 6 hours, or you get them for 8 hours or for 2 hours? Because when you guys say megawatts, it blows over people's head. I would like you to explain to everyone, say, if we increase by X amount, you start seeing light 1 hour per day. Business will go up for 1 hour. That's what increases per capita. You understand? You know the economics.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So all that's right.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. So your name? We can't hear you. Okay, Eitemi Tyree, please go ahead with your question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right.
Good evening, sir, Mr. Peter Obi. The question I want to ask is about, my name is Eitemi Tyree.
Eitemi. Okay. I'm listening.
Eitemi, yes.
Yes.
My point is that the problem of people, I call it, we have people who focus on their own narrow selfish interests at the expense of our collective enlightened self-interest. So my question is, sir, how will you deal with this issue of people, especially within the context of those who will happily sabotage your plans? When I'm asking this question, power comes to my mind, and a number of the things that happened under the government of Goodluck Jonathan. How will you deal with people who are effective saboteurs, basically, and get past them to be able to achieve some goals? That is one. Then I just quickly throw in a second question. What specific steps will you take with regards to restructuring? What does restructuring mean to you, and what do you plan to do when you're president?
All right, thank you very much.
Please, can I, moderator, please, I'm here. Can I ask my question, please?
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for this privilege. And I'm happy to see my incoming president. My name is Kingsley Omobude. I'm residing here in Italy, and where I am in diaspora. Sir, it's a question and the same time is suggestion to the incoming president. You know, now everybody's talking about Labour Party not having structure, and we're talking about party agents. You know, like some of us who are in diaspora, I use myself as an example. I have made it mandatory that I will be in Nigeria 2 months before the election, and we want to participate in the process. Even though some of us are not having our PVC, but we want to participate in the process. How can we be party agents so that we'll be able to monitor the process and see how we can be able to organize? Because we in diaspora, I believe that we cannot compromise, because that is one of the challenges we are going to be having, to have party loyalists, you know, that can be able to see to the end of the electoral process. So that is my question and suggestion and same time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's the first four questions.
Yes, sir, you can go ahead.
And we'll go to the second one.
Yes, sir.
Kim is the first question. Kim, let me start by most sincerely, I know what it means to lose a loved one. Please accept my sincere sympathy, even when it has happened several years ago. I share with your pain. But when you talk about security, there's so many diverse ways of dealing with issues of security. So first is, I've always said it, there's things you call natural security, and you have to deal with defensive security. Well, I will not tell you exactly in detail what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be able to be broad about it. When it comes to the issue of natural security, you must do whatever is possible to ensure that you start pulling people out of poverty. I said it earlier, the more people have means of livelihood, the more you put people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. Yesterday, I was traveling to Abuja, and I got to the airport. My flight was supposed to be 8:20, and they've changed the flight from 8:20 to 10:40. So I had the opportunity of staying at the airport, and some young people were coming to take pictures with me. And these two young men came, and I sat down with them. And I said, what do you do? One said to me, he's a programmer. Hello, are you hearing me?
Go ahead, we can hear you, sir.
Go ahead, we are hearing you now. We missed you a little bit. Well, go ahead.
Okay, let me go back. So if you're dealing with the issue of security, I said you have to deal with it in two ways. One is issue of natural security, and that by means of livelihood. Yesterday I was going to Abuja. My flight was supposed to be 8:20. I'm getting to the airport, I was delayed to 10:40. So I was and suddenly these two young men came about, and I said to them, well, what do you do? One said, I'm a programmer with FCMB Bank at the airport. The other one said, I sell books from Oga. I said, so which school did you go to? This one went to a polytechnic, the HND. The other one had a secondary school education. Separately, I asked the question, how much are you paid? One is paid 36,000, the other one is paid 30,000. Separately, I asked the question, is this enough? Both of them answered, gave me the same answer. It is not enough, but so many of our friends don't even get 1,000 a month. So with that, we are not there doing the bad thing, doing this. Recently, I traveled with a young man who just finished secondary school class 5 and lives with the mother in Ajegunle. And APs had gave him a job as one of the loaders and transferred him to Abuja. And he sat beside me. I was sitting at, I think, number 12A. He was sitting in 12B. And somebody was sitting in 12C. And I said, young man, who are you? He first asked me, he said, my face looks familiar. He said, my face looks familiar. And I said, yes, I'm Mr. Peter Obi. He said, oh my God. I said, no, wait. I said, so who are you? He said, okay, I don't know, maybe I'll change myself. I said, don't change yourself, I want us to talk. He said, I just finished class, I finished class 5. I live with my mother in Ajegunle. They gave me this job. How much are you going to be paid? 40,000 naira. Are you happy? He didn't even wait for me to finish. He said, all my friends who are not doing anything are just there stealing and doing bad things. So what does it say? Most of this criminality have visited 7 prisons in Nigeria. In about 4 or 5 of them, I was opportune to interview supposed kidnappers. Why are you doing this? Because I have no job. How much were you paid in the last operation? It's 25,000, 30,000, 40,000. Because what happens? The big ones collect the 10 million and give the boys who do the operation 40, 50,000, and that's it. So if they have a gainful employment, you reduce that criminality. It's happened in Mexico, in Brazil, in Colombia. I can go on and on. When you deal with this, that is number one. On the defense and security side, you have to equip your security by manning them properly, ensure they have the tools to do the work. I said I went to Egypt, a country of 100 million people. They have over 1 million police. I think it was about 1,030,000 for a country of 100 million people. Nigeria is 200 million, and they have 320,000 police, out of which you know that a third of that are already no longer in police force. They're just at people's house, you know. So you need to deal with these issues. I can tell you that I have an idea of what to do. I've met from the IG to the leadership in the military, and I have an idea what to do. And it will be done decisively. It is not going to be a waste, they're going to waste other people or wasting people's time. You deal with it head on. There need to be a political will, a leadership will to deal with issues, because they're a critical component of your development. You're not going to do anything with development unless you deal with issue of security. Somebody Kingsley asked about translating power. What does it mean? Kingsley, a country of 200 million people, if we are going to move the country from consumption to production, when I talk about production, I talk about being able to support businesses, from small scale businesses, maybe barbing saloons, hairdressing, small restaurants, to the big manufacturing facility. Nigeria requires today a minimum of about 40, 50,000 megawatts, which you're not going to get overnight. So what I'm talking about incremental stages is that you can drive a process that can give you power from where we are today, 4,000, to easily over 15,000 in 4 years. So what it then translates that if you're getting steady supply today of say 4 hours, you're going to triple that to where you're getting maybe 10 or 12 hours. And if you continue in that right direction, you soon come out of it. So that's what it means. There will be more support, there will be more availability of power. Because you're going to talk about generation, transmission, and distribution at the same time. That's why I said I have to sit down in Egypt and learn what they're doing or what they did. ATM said, how are you going to deal with the issue of sabotage? Well, frankly, that issue is there, but you can deal with it. It is the people think, people tell you all sorts of things. When you go there, you will see it's not easy. When you go there, I said, I've governed a difficult state like Anambra State. Very, very difficult state. You can concentrate on what you're doing. You can concentrate on doing the right things. And with time, you find out that those who are opposing you will join you. If I have your email or anything, I show you what my head of service then with Thinkers Melifon wrote. Stinginess as a development strategy. When I started with the civil servants, every time they bring everything, I cut the price. I stopped so many travel, no more seminars, no more this. I said, listen, let's implement the ones we've learned before I came. That's so when we finish out, no more travel, no more going to Abuja for this, going to this. From governor to everybody must travel economy. My first 4 years, nobody from me, the governor, to the last person used any vehicle other than 5406. I had 406, 4. The rest of the people had every permanent secretaries 1-1, judges 1-1. Only me had 4. My deputy governor had 2 for 4 years. And then it became, of course, there was a lot of issues. They'll bring this out, say, no, you can't do it. No, you can't do this. But when I started using the money, when I started saying to them, we're owing you gratuities, we're owing you a standing pension, we're owing you a standing leave allowance, we're owing you this, and I started paying them. The same people on their own were the ones hailing that stinginess because they saw the value. So when you start doing it, they were tired. Every saboteur wants light in his house. He wants his children to be in school. He wants to drive on good road. Will anybody want to sabotage good road? No. So it's a question of you drive everybody yelling and crying. And when you talk about restructuring is not going to be done overnight, but there's things you can restructure immediately. I don't believe, and I say it today, if I'm in office today, every governor will be responsible for the security of the state. I'll provide them all the support. The police commissioner will be reportable to the governor. Let me tell you, as governor of my state, I removed every policeman that is not working with me. Every governor will be in charge. We will employ people. I can tell you, we'll employ citizens of that state. We'll make sure that the governor is in charge of the police and everything. They'll still be federal police. We'll say, if they want state police, we'll give it to them. They must police their place. If the local government wants to have local government security, we'll provide it. There must be security. So I can be able to tell a governor, listen, this thing that happened in your state is unacceptable to us. We must provide security in this country. It's not rocket science. It's done in every other country of the world. And it can be done here. And people can tell you where you're going to get money to employ them. We will plug the waste and use the resources appropriate to where it is needed. That's my own formula restructuring. Deal with the issue of education, especially basic education. Go and ask anybody, as governor of Anambra State, if I see your child on the street, both the child and the parents will answer for it. I had a problem of boys-girls education. The boys were not going to school, only the girls. Go to Anambra State today, it's changed. And when you talk about sabotage, just to give you an example, the person that's talking about sabotage, we were able to move our education from 26, 27 to number 1. We didn't change the teachers. Nobody changed. It was the same teachers that we were teaching when we were 27 that was still teaching when we were number 1. So what happened? They became better teachers because they know that I, the governor, visited all the 500 and something secondary schools, private and public one, visited the primary schools. They don't know when you're going to come. Supervision increased. We started questioning teachers. Why did this happen? Why didn't this happen? Providing them tools, this, that. Everything changed. Kingsley was asking issue of party agents. Kingsley, there's nothing called party agents. Forget about all these things people are talking about, structure this. If you vote in any place, You stay there and they can't vote. You are an agent. Even if you don't vote and you go to a police booth and stay and say the vote must be counted, you are party agent. The only party agent does is that party agent stays there to sign it, sign the papers. So party agent can be there and compromise. The people can insist, no compromise. Let them, whatever they vote here, this thing, as long as one or two people have been in polling booths where people say, I'm nothing, but vote the cast here must be counted as it was cast. And that is it. Anybody can be a party agent. Anybody can be polling agent. All there is to insist that whatever vote, lawful vote that was cast here will be counted and entered as per the winners or those who is been cast for. And you're welcome to come back and participate and help us to take back our country.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, there are about 40 hands up. If we are to take all these 40 hands, we will not end. So I would we'll take a few more. I know you probably have to go. We will take maybe the next 4, and if you can be brief with your responses as well, so that we can take a bit more people. So we'll take.
I can actually do my response as quickly as possible, but you know, they will say, "Oh, you didn't explain it very well."
Okay. So we have Ufot Ime, somebody that has a Samsung Ultra. You will introduce yourself and let us know your name. Then we have Otaji Faye Modupe, and then we have one Emmanuel Eben. So if you are all there, please be brief, 30 seconds each. Just one question, not 2. Ufot Ime, unmute yourself and go ahead. Admin, unmute. Okay, unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Your Excellency, sir. Yes, you have made a statement. You said, don't vote for Peter Obi because I'm an Igbo man. Don't vote for Peter Obi because I'm a Christian. Vote for Peter Obi because I'm a Nigerian that is ready, that have a conscience to change. How do we translate these messages to all the 740 local governments across the country? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. That was straight and direct. Yes, somebody with a Samsung Ultra phone.
Hello?
Yeah, what's your name?
My name is Samuel.
Okay.
Well, in the first 40 minutes, I heard the Excellency saying, we take back Nigeria. Sir, when you left PDP, because this your idea of take back Nigeria, is as the same thing of Omoyele Sowore. Why don't you deem it fit to join his party that is not corrupt, that is a movement already for the past 5 years, so that you guys will be able to bring the youth together and reform the country? My fear is Labour Party is still the same old people. And I heard you saying that you cannot probe some people like Obasanjo, IBB, and some others that are in the Labour Party that they've corrupted in the past. How do you think you will change the country with the likes of the same people that has never repented, that they are after their own individualism of politics? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Is Otaji Faye on the line? Okay, if Otaji is not there, let's have Modupe.
Good evening.
Good evening, go ahead.
2 questions. One, we had election in Osun and we have in Ekiti also. The performance of Labour is nothing to write home about. what will change? Number two, in 1979, Awu campaigned and he said, no Kuroko, no Krika. And there was a backlash, even in the East. Now we're saying we are going to revive the electricity generation. With the predominantly Igbo in generator business, how will you survive?
Thank you very much for those questions. Okay, maybe I should take one or two more, Your Excellency, so that you can just group them and answer. Emmanuel Eban, are you there? Okay, Emmanuel Mock. Okay, let's have Kevin Egu.
On mute, exactly.
Okay, Emmanuel, go ahead. Please, 30 seconds, straight to the point.
Okay, good evening, Your Excellency. Emmanuel Mock here. You've met me, we've met in your house and all of that. Now, the point I want to bring is the registration going on. We need support for it. I don't know, we need you and other credible candidates to get involved, to get INEC to extend voter registration. I don't know what people can do. A voter registration machine registers a maximum of 26 people a day of 9 hours because it takes about 20 minutes to do one. I have a structure of so many people doing it. So if INEC is giving local government just 10 machines, it therefore means those local governments can register only 6,000 people a month. So to end voter registration where there are millions of people that want to register is just not working. That's one. Two, INEC has not given so many people their voter cards. Some people since 2007 have not collected their voter cards. So we need candidates like you and other credible candidates to engage the system, engage the National Assembly, so that INEC can, so that voting can be through biometrics, because the fingerprint can authenticate the person or the facial recognition. Too many people have temporary voter cards, they will not vote. INEC is saying it already that 10.6 million people have registered, but 3.6 million are not going to, I don't even know what they're saying about it.
Okay,
so my
Manuel,
question is, what can you do? What can you do and candidates like you do to help us ensure that INEC extends voter registration and this challenge is helped? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Your Excellency, maybe you can take this 4.
Okay, there's actually 6 questions there. You know, like last time it was 5 questions.
Okay.
Well, let me start with the 4th. The 4th was saying about my campaign is very simple, and I maintain that. Do not vote for Peter Obi because he's an Igbo man. Or from the Southeast. Do not vote for me because I'm from South-South. Because I'm not just from Southeast, I'm from South-South as well, because my wife is from South-South, so I claim to have come from South-South as well. Don't vote for me because I'm even from Southwest, because I live in Lagos. So don't vote for me because I have interest maybe in the North or this and everything. Vote for competence, vote for capacity. Vote for somebody who has the competence to serve the nation and understands what it's all about. What am I saying? Today in Nigeria, we have, call it 2 main candidates, because all of you will say PDP, APC, and you have 2 other candidates who I call it upcoming Peter Obi and Kwankwaso. Put us up on the scale. Check our background, ask who we are. Try to ascertain what we've done in the past. This is time, we have 7 months to verify our background in terms of education, our means of livelihood, things we've done as in our personal capacity, maybe our personal business organization, things we have done in our corporate life, things we've done in the public life. I've said that number, I'm a trader. People can tell you today how I started my life. Been doing business. This is my line of business. I've been involved in corporate life. We have been director of so many companies, chaired a lot of companies, have even been chairman of Security and Exchange Commission, and then go on to talk about issues of education. These are his classmates, these are who he is, and everything. And then to my public life, where I served as the governor. These are references that they use in every other country of the world to elect people to a higher office. In fact, in China, Vietnam, all the Asian countries, you can't talk about being a president if you have not been a chief executive of a regional government. And that has been the case everywhere in the world. There must be a basis of measure. You know, you're either a member of the legislature or something on which you can be measured. So that's what I'm saying. Someone said when I left PDP, I would have joined Shareware so we can team up. Well, I didn't do that. I fancied Labour and I joined Labour. And I believe that whatever I think I can serve or do for the people, I can do it through the Labour Party. If you look at me, go and check all my, everywhere I've made comments. I've not discussed anybody. You have never seen me any day call any candidate or anybody name, unless I'm answering questions based on the person's comments. But I'm sure that in some of them, the only thing they do every day is to call Peter Obi. In fact, it's as if Peter Obi is their only vision of what they want to do for Nigeria. So they get up in the morning, tweet, this Peter Obi is this Peter Obi is that. So for me, I'm focused on how to build a better place. And you said that I talked about the issue of not probing anybody and mention names of those who are corrupt and everything. I stand on what I said. I'm not going to focus on yesterday. Those who focus on yesterday and today will miss tomorrow. I said it even in my last participation in a public debate. You cannot close your shop and start chasing thieves. By the time you come back, so many other goods have expired and you've lost your customers. I'm a businessman. What you do is, if people are stealing from your store, is to enhance your security, ensure that you reduce the stealing, and be able to be there to service your customers to increase the business. That doesn't say that if there's any place you think you can recover something, you will not go there. But not the way it's being done today. I'm not going to waste Nigerians' time of saying Nigerians are this, Nigerians are that, and everything. In fact, I'll do it differently. I'll focus 90% on ensuring that stealing stops from the day I start, rather than looking back when the more stealing will continue. Because in looking back, more will be stolen, which is what we're facing today. The last accountant general didn't steal 80 billion. But because we were looking at the last one, this new one took 80 billion. So you must focus on tomorrow. not on yesterday. Yesterday is gone. You can use the examples of yesterday in order to face tomorrow, but don't focus on it. The monies we borrowed in this present regime, if we have spent a quarter of it, we would have generated at least 20,000 megawatts. Imagine if we had done that, we would have been in a different place. A quarter of it. Another question was the issue of election in Ekiti and Osun, and whether the result of labor will be different because the result is not there, it's not encouraging. You know, I live in this, Nigerians always think, and we always think there's a magic somewhere. I joined Labour Party and became a candidate of Labour Party only on the 30th of May. So technically, I've been a member, I've been Labour Party candidate in about 6 weeks. The candidate of Ekiti election was actually emerged sometime in February, January or February. And Ekiti election took place about a week or so that I joined Labour Party. And everybody thought, oh, maybe had a magic wand in which you would have turned it around. I've actually been to Ekiti when I was in PDP, campaigning, running around for primary, and campaign for the governorship candidate. And I've done the same thing in Osun. I've actually been in Osun as a PDP aspirant and campaigned for a delegate. I just joined Labour yesterday. So, and I want you to take note of this. In Anambra State in 2017, December, we had a gubernatorial election in which the then governor won 21 local governments over 21 local governments. And in 2019, when I became the vice presidential candidate of PDP, everybody was against my candidature on the basis that we'll never win Anambra State. Look at what happened in the last election a year ago. It was just about a year ago that I was there. PDP couldn't even win one local government. There was this. So what is the basis of my distance? And I recall telling my principal then, it is different. Now my name, Peter Obi, is on the ballot. It will be different. And so many people, including the governor from the side, said, we're not going to get 5%. Go and check PDP 2019 election. PDP got their best result in Anambra State. We won the election by 96% of the vote. In fact, I won the ward of the governor, the then governor. I won as the presidential candidate. The PDP got their best result for the presidential election in 2019 in Anambra State. No other state did PDP win more than 70%, including the state of my Oga, my leader. But in Anambra State, we won 96% of the vote. And I won all the 326 wards. So there are two different elections. 2023 election, the name on the ballot, there is not my name because it will be my party, but the name that is associated with it is Peter Obi. It's not going to be the gubernatorial candidate from this thing, Nigerians know Peter Obi and what he can offer because they have experience somewhere. They have somewhere to refer to. Some of these people, they have nowhere to refer to. And it's not known to them. So do not put the same election, they are not the same thing. On issue of extension, okay, issue of electricity and the Igbo people selling generator. Well, I can assure you that the greatest producer of motorcycles was in Nnewi. And motorcycles were banned all over the place in the southeast. Though I didn't ban it because of reason that I wanted them to tell me what Okada people would do. But every state in the southeast banned motorcycles. And then people started producing cars. That was the birth of innocence. So if they are selling generators today, when we start transmitting power, distributing power, manufacturing starts, somebody that you're manufacturing water today will not stop you from producing beer tomorrow. One of the famous fashion companies, Louis Vuitton, it used to be a water company in France. Manufacturing is a manufacturer. I've been a trader. I wasn't trading on a particular thing. I traded on any goods that was moving. So people who are doing today, who are into selling generator, can become exporters of clothing tomorrow as we are moving from local distribution of goods to export. So they can move, it is a businessman. That will not be a problem. As INEC to extend, I've taken note of what you said, Emmanuel. I'm going to deal with it on a party level. I won't deal with it on an individual level because it won't work. They will think there's this thing, but I'm going to bring it to the chairman of our party. He will bring it to other party people and they can discuss all that to do with INEC, with other parties.
Excellency, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me ask a question, and then let's see if other people can take another set of questions, and then we really would have to close. There's Florence, Olashuyi, Alex, Ahije, Oyeyinka, Oyeniji, and somebody has been on my neck, Toludari. Let me see if I can take those 4 questions. But Excellency, please take my question as well. And then after this 4, you can give your closing remarks, you know, and maybe you tell us how much time you are going to need to turn Nigeria around if and when you become president, or what the magic is going to be. But my question is, how are you going to deal with corruption in Nigeria? And how are you going to deal with the oil sector and this thing they call the exclusive list that does not allow us to harness our resources in Nigeria? How are we going to deal with these things? Corruption, the oil sector, and the exclusive list. Please note those questions while I ask Oyeyinka Oyeniji, Florence Obasuyi to unmute herself. Oyeyinka Oyeniji after that, then Toludare after that, and then who was the 4th person? I can't remember. Who's the 4th person now? Alex Ahije.
Alex Ahije, yeah.
Ahije, yeah. Thank you. Obasuyi, please.
Yeah, good evening, His Excellency.
Good evening, Florence.
We can't hear you, Florence.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Florence, good evening.
Okay.
How are you today?
Good evening, His Excellency. My name is Obasi Florence. I'm actually calling from Belgium. And my major concern is the ongoing registration of voters. Actually, where I come from, they are right now campaigning and trying to get people registered. The medical personnel from some hospitals are helping us there, creating a medical ground to register people. The fact is we're having problems with registration INEC officials, and they just have one machine in that whole area today. It was done today. And they have just one machine. And as at 6 o'clock, because they gave them up to 6 o'clock to close, they still had 60 people who were not registered. How are we going to combat this problem? Because it is not only in this area, it's all over Benin, I think so. So how are you going to handle this before the 30th of this, before the 31st of this month? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Florence.
You're welcome, sir.
Oh, yeah, Yinka, please.
Hi, mine is a word of encouragement. I'm a candidate contesting the Federal House of Representatives, and I understand how important it is to have policies that would help the president actualize his plans. So the plan, I think my advice to you in advance is that issues to do with federalism, restructuring, referendum, we should, and also a brand new constitution, we should make paramount. And across the parties, we are galvanizing support for you to ensure that those 469 positions of the National Assembly are people who possibly buy into your dreams. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Olu.
All right, Toludare, please. Olu, please unmute Toludare. Alex Ahije, are you there? Can you unmute yourself too?
Yes, I'm already unmuted. Thank you, Pastor Ituah.
Is that Tolu? Okay, Toludare.
Yes, this is Tolu. Yeah, thank you, Pastor Ituah, for this opportunity.
Yeah.
And to the presidential candidate, Mr. Obi, I just want to encourage that my name is Toludare, sir.
Yeah, Tolu, how are you?
Fine. So the reason I'm even on this call is because I believe of all the presidential candidates we have in Nigeria today, you are perhaps the only one that is telling us details, giving us details. Some people say I'll fix power, I'll fix electricity, I'll fix corruption, but you are giving us the details. And for that, I think I appreciate what you are doing. And again, people keep saying that Anambra is not Nigeria. It doesn't matter. Barack Obama was just a state senator, a member of the House of Representatives, a member of like a House of Assembly in Nigeria. And he went on to become president of the United States. So your experience is enough. Being a governor for 8 years is enough. And the only other thing I want to just give an advice to you about is that it's about this power sector. I know that you have been doing a lot about the power sector and you really want to increase the megawatt generation in Nigeria. By the grace of God, I've been in the power sector for 7 years and I've added 2 GENCOs. And my GENCO was one of they are the best performing GENCOs in Nigeria in the period I was MD there. So I've been talking to Pastor Ituah for the past 2 years about power generation and he's very passionate about it. So I will crave an opportunity to see you so that I can offer some of my advice on power sector generation in Nigeria. But I can offer 2 publicly here now. The first one is that I saw that you went to Egypt. You went to see power plants in Egypt. You need to visit some in Nigeria. When I and Pastor Ituah see you, I will tell you which ones to visit. You need to see what is exactly happening about power generation.
I'm actually visited some, but me and you will visit one.
Yes. Then secondly, sir, I've been telling Pastor Ituah this. One of the problems of power generation in Nigeria is that it costs a lot of money to buy new parts. If a part costs $1 million, it's going to cost $200,000 to repair. A lot of our power plants are moribund. We need to have a repair center in Nigeria. I've been talking to Pastor Ituah about this. When we have a repair center in Nigeria, it's going to help a lot. Then the TCN, a lot needs to be done. Before, Manitoba was called to Nigeria, but that thing was cancelled. We need help regarding the strengthening of our grid. Then the last point, sir, is that Siemens project failed because nobody was consulted. The stakeholders were not consulted. Nobody went to the power generating plants. Nobody went to Discos. Nobody went to TCN. The intention of the Siemens project was for us to achieve 11,000 megawatts by 2021. Now we're in 2022. We are still hovering between 3,000 and 4,000. So I'm going to talk to Pastor Ituah, and we'll have an opportunity to see you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay, who is next? Pastor, I can't remember who we called again.
I believe it was Alex.
Alex Arizo? Alex
Arije.
Okay, he's no longer on the platform. Okay, is there any other person? Okay, Your Excellency, you may want to. I was really hoping that we could keep Your Excellency here till about 7:30, except of course, Hello?
Pastor Sonny, you can take Grace Okin. She's been on for a while.
Alex is here now.
I'm here.
All right, Alex, go ahead. Dr. Anna Meje.
I can see 64 people raising their hands.
Yes. But so if we take all of them, we'll be here till 12 midnight. But I'm sure you are willing to take as many as possible, sir.
Yes,
okay.
Let's
see what we can do. I can't see Alex.
Alex is on. Alex, talk.
Okay, good evening.
Okay, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Obi. Really, love
Alex.
the way you. Yes.
Good evening.
Yes, I really love the way you campaign and everything you are doing. My question is, when I was the last election in Ekiti and Osun State, I can see that the turnout on your party, it was so low, and the same thing in Ekiti State. So what can you do in that area that you can, have a lot of followers over there?
All right. Thank you very much. Dr. Anna Meje, or who was the other?
All right,
person?
yes.
Grace is online. Next.
Okay,
Grace.
Grace
also. Grace Okin.
Grace Okin. Okay, doctor, just give me a minute. Grace Okin, go. After that, we can take the doctor and Grace, unmute yourself.
Okay. Yes, please. Good evening, sir. My name is Grace, and I'm in the US at the moment. And I just want to, because I've heard a lot of talk about what you want to do, but I think it would be a disservice to you, sir, for us to allow people go away with the thought that, Mr. Obi is coming to change Nigeria. And this is the fastest way that we are going to lose all of those things. The reason is because what we have at stake now is not about Mr. Peter Obi. You are just a rallying point.
Completely.
A bigger idea. Which is that those who are tired of the way Nigeria is being run right now, for us to rally around a figure that has provided leadership. Sir, you are not an angel. You are not an expert in every field. By God's grace, I had the privilege. I was born in the North, and I had privilege to do some politics in the North. My mom is Igbo. My dad is Yoruba. My grandmom is from Edo State. So I am a full-blooded Nigerian. And I know that if we are able to create a very lean and acceptable ideology, like you rightly said, the cost of Gari to the Igbo man is not sold differently to the Hausa or the Yoruba or whatever tribe. Create a very lean ideology for us to understand the people dynamics of the different sections, how to appeal to them. Then how we can mitigate the so-called structures. These structures are not cast in stones. I've done it before in the North. In an election where they made us believe that we don't have structures, we don't have people, and we were able to mitigate it. And then we need to plug the loopholes that these so-called structures use for rigging and creating insecurity. There are ways that we can counter their insecurity without non-assault counter insecurity measures that we can put in place. And then we can talk about policies. Whatever you want to do, whether you want to create light, if you don't win the election, we will not be able to implement any policies. So, sir, how do we make sure that we bring people into understanding what is at stake and how to make us all collectively responsible rather than continually pushing it to what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You are one of 200 million people. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll take the last one from Dr. Anameje, and then I'm sure
it's the last one.
For this round.
For this round, okay. I thought Grace would have been the last one. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Dr. Anameje Chizolom, and it's more like a comment and also a question. First of all, I have to say that I'm a direct beneficiary of your governance. I'm a graduate of Chukwemeko Dumego Ojukwu University, a medical graduate, and I was a direct beneficiary of your.
Congrats, at least I built the medical school.
Yes, that's exactly what I want to say. We had a record accreditation process, and it was smooth because of the policies you set on ground. So first of all, I want to say, when you say, let us go and verify, I am part of the beneficiaries of your good governance. The second of all, I want to say that, we, the youths, are championing your cause across social media platforms, across every platform we can actually use. But then, like you said, when you go to the rural areas, when you go to hard-to-reach areas in the north, especially, and also within so many rural areas, you find out that they don't have the knowledge level is not as much as in the urban area. So if there could be a platform, if there could be a system where this orientation could go to those areas where we need to be heard, especially the fact that the system doesn't include names attached to this logo. Most of, when you go to so many rural areas, they think you're still in PDP. They still think you are still in PDP. So we need a lot of orientation to go on within the next 7 months to ensure that the Labour Party logo is actually reach to hard-to-reach areas, so that we can actually send the message across before the election begins. So these are my contributions to the process, and good luck as we campaign for 2023. Thank you, and over.
All right, thank you very much. His Excellency, I will let you take those questions and maybe Pastor Esther's question as well.
Let me start by the first person. I will take his question and I'll thank him, is Grace. The reason why Grace is the first person I want to thank and comment is that, Grace, you understand what I'm preaching. Mr. Obi is not desperate to be the president of Nigeria. I'm desperate to see a better Nigeria. I'm desperate to see Nigeria working. I want Nigeria to be what you can call a developing nation, on the right track, on the right trajectory. Our compass presently is not pointing to the north. We need to have be on the right road. What we are doing now is like somebody who doesn't know where he's going. So every road will lead you there. We don't know where we're going. Every country have a set of clear, properly articulated destination, which everybody believes in. And that's what I want to lead. I want us to come together, like Grace said, those who are tired of this present situation. We have had 24 years by next year of PDP and APC leadership. We need to ask ourselves a fundamental question. How do you tell anybody that a country, per capita, over 20 years has diminished. So imagine the number of people you threw into poverty. From the year 2000 to the year 2015 to now, China has put over 500 million people out of poverty. India has put over 300 million people out of poverty. Vietnam has put over 50 million people out of poverty. I can go on and on. And you've thrown more people into poverty. That is the issue that we all have to deal with. Dr. Anameje, I've listened to what you said about rural areas, and I want you to help in educating those people and telling them what the new position is. I'm not in Labour Party. That is critical and is important. And I'll do so. Maybe that's why we have this long position for our election. But you also, an example of what I was going to tell somebody who said Anambra State is not the same thing as this. I'll come today, Anambra is not Nigeria. Anambra State is Nigeria. When I was moving from private sector to public sector, when I was going to go from where I was to be governor of Anambra State, people keep telling you public sector and private sector is not the same. You cannot do the same. In private sector, it's your private business. In public, you're going to deal with civil servants. You're going to deal with this. That is absolute nonsense. In fact, what you need is that you need a wealth creator. If a person has not created wealth, they cannot manage one. When I went to Anambra State, I found that there's too much waste. Because I came from private sector where I've created wealth, managed resources efficiently and effectively, I was able to do the same thing. And now you've managed a state, a difficult state like Anambra for 8 years, they're telling you it's not Nigeria. What is in Nigeria? It's just the way people create confusion and fear in order to continue the mismanagement of Nigeria. In fact, if you can manage local government, you can manage Nigeria. The president of Indonesia, Ighodalo, was a local government chairman of the capital of Indonesia. From there, he managed it very well. They made him the president. If you manage local government efficiently, you can manage Nigeria. And you, Dr. Nemeje, is an example of what can happen. When I became governor, the Nigerian Medical Council wrote me a letter that our school of medicine, College of Medicine in our state university is closed down. And I asked them a reason, why will you close it down? The answer is that because we do not have a teaching hospital. So they must close it down. And I said, you cannot do that because we have over 300 students there. They said, no, they can graduate as in biology, in chemistry, all sorts of things. I said, can I ask you a favor? Can you give me 2 years to build a teaching hospital? They said that I should go and check the history of Nigeria. Nobody has been able to build a teaching hospital in 4 years. I'm wasting everybody's time. Until the leader of the team, Professor Sume, I continue to remain grateful to him, said to me, we will give you 2 years. And I called all Anambra professors of medicine. I invited all of them. They came and I said to them, I'm not going to pay you people 1 kobo, but I want to build a teaching hospital in 2 years. And I need you people to help me. And all of them sat down, over 20 of them. And we built a teaching hospital in 2 years. So let nobody tell you, if you're determined, you can have results. You might not achieve everything, but people will see 100% effort. On issue of Ekiti and Osun election, I think I've answered this before. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Go on.
Okay. I think I've answered this issue before. On issue of this before. There's no way you can use that election to compare the future. I've just been in Labour Party for less than 6 weeks, and people want to, see you would have had a magic that would have translated into this. No, it wouldn't have been possible. I needed more time. We need to have the proper candidate. And this election that is coming is about candidates. The candidates that won those elections were well known already, vast and everything. I didn't think Adeleke won because of PDP or because of even anybody. It's in there, it's in campaigning. It's about the people. So it's a different ball game. I'm offering myself to Nigerians, and I believe that it will be different. Tolu, I accept the offer. I want to meet with you, with the Pastor Ituah, who is my brother and friend. I look forward to meeting with you. And when I meet you, I'll tell you a few things about issue of why Siemens project failed. It failed because of leadership. It failed because of purposeful leadership. But we'll discuss more on it. On what you said about repairs, is what I'm saying about the investment in education. I said it before, you can't talk about building physical infrastructure without human infrastructure. You can't have human capital of 52 over 58, and you're talking about it. These are why I said we have to aggressively deal with the issue of education. So it will be easy. Olu, thank you for what you said about what you people are trying to do to have legislators that will help in what we are doing. Florence, I've listened to what you said about legislation. We can only do the party complain to INEC. I agree with you. They're very slow. This I'm going to take it up with the party. Labour Party, take it up with INEC. Pastor, you have 3 questions in one. Exclusive list. These are issues one has to deal when you're in office. But I've said it before, most of the exclusive lists I'm going to deal with and be able to bring them down to where the things that are there that should not be there. And it doesn't require anything. By the time we start practicing through federalism, you will see that this our constitution can go a long way while dismantling the other things. On the oil sector issue, the only reason why the oil sector is being is like it's a problem today is because of our consumption mentality, where everybody sees oil as everything. Oil today, I can tell you, is a diminishing asset, is something that is dying. The future is in agriculture, is in knowledge. People are moving from baggage economy to knowledge economy. In just Nigeria, Venezuela have 10 times more oil reserve than Nigeria. So even when you haven't saved with Venezuela, it will not save Nigeria. So oil issue is something we have to think about differently. Even in America, Texas is not the most, in terms of economy, the biggest state with all their oil. They are still at number 3 or number 4. Because the state of California is number 1, a 3.3 trillion economy, to one side of Texas is powered by agriculture, knowledge, entertainment. New York, bigger than California, is not about oil. It is still about trade, businesses, and so on and so forth. So it is not about oil. We will concentrate on doing things that will take us out of the oil. I keep saying oil, our biggest asset is the vast uncultivated land in the north that we need to deal with aggressively. On issue of corruption, I've said it, I sing it every day. If the CEO is not stealing, his wife is not stealing, his wife or wives are not stealing, the children are not stealing, those around him is not stealing, you reduce it by 70%. And I've challenged and said repeatedly, show me any contractor, supplier in 8 years I was governor, who will say, sat down with Peter Obi to say, I
think Mr. Obi's network is angry.
Pastor, I think Mr. Obi's network is off.
Well, it was working so well so far. Anyway, I think we've had a very great and excellent session. I want to assure you that we're going to bring him back. By that time, we'd have expanded our participation base. There are still 56 people trying to ask questions. I hope they'll be able to ask their questions then. God will keep all of us alive and in good health. And also people can go to the Zoom platform to see, and so on and so forth. People are still entering the waiting room even as we speak. But I think time is not our best friend. We really need to close the program. But we will bring him back within the next 4 to 6 weeks, and we will announce it very well and make sure we're adequately ready for everyone. If anybody also knows of any presidential candidate that is willing to come on the platform, please let us know. We want to get all of them on the platform, including the two big ones. If they're willing and able to come on the platform, we want to get them on the platform. If we have their campaign managers, we're ready to get them on the platform. And we have anybody who thinks that they're supporters and you want to talk on their behalf, we want to get them on the platform so that we can have a robust discussion and have. Okay, go ahead, sir. Yeah,
also,
go ahead.
There's something I'm preaching in this election.
Yeah.
Let every candidate come on board and come and speak for himself. We will no longer continue campaign by process. That is why when somebody said, you asked Naira is 1:1, he said the party said it. This campaign should be driven by the candidate participation. Let's put the candidate on the spot to tell us what is. So we take note. Every question I've been asked, I've taken note, and I'm going to file them because that's what Nigerians are looking for. So when you go in there, start tackling the problems of Nigeria, and not start saying you've forgotten what they said, or it's not you who said it. It's your brother, it's your uncle, it's your wife. I go everywhere. My wife is not campaigning. My children are not campaigning. The person you want to elect is Mr. Peter Obi, and I take responsibility to start putting Nigeria on the right path for growth.
Thank you very much, Excellency. So can we please have your concluding thoughts and let us, when do you think we'll be able to get you back on the platform? We have about 50-something questions waiting to be asked and answered. So we'd like to get a bit more of you. Is it possible that we have a time, or do we discuss that offline?
Well, Pastor, we discussed that, but Pastor, you can remember, you only told me this about when?
I think 2 days ago.
2 days ago, I was on my way to Abuja. He said, he didn't even tell me I'm going to be the guest. He said, can I participate? So for me, I was going to participate. When a father was, I put on my, I was trying to do something. When my wife said to me, listen, Peter, it seems you're the person people are going to ask this case. I said, okay, let me, but what I'm saying is that, Pastor, in this exercise, everybody is now a candidate. There's nothing wrong in asking us the same question every day, even if we have to answer the same question every day, so that people could understand and hear it very well and know our stand on all issues. It is important that we do it repeatedly, as long as what I said before, everybody, I'm ready, we'll discuss when I'll come back, because it is critical to Nigerians to know what they're getting into this time. 2023, we must get it right. Or, God help us, if He still wants to keep us as a nation. For me, my parting word or concluding word is that I'm appealing to all Nigerians. Do not see Peter Obi as a presidential candidate. See me as a leader of a movement of people who are tired of Nigeria as it is today and wants to save the country. Let us come together and save our country from collapsing. Let us come together and save the future of the society our children will live in. That is what I'm pleading with everybody. Do not see it as this. I'm not going to be your usual president. No. And like Pastor said, I'm not going to change it overnight. I want to be able to be a leader of beginning of building a better Nigeria for our children. We have no other country except this one. Some people have dual nationality, I don't have. I want to see Nigeria work. It will be difficult. Very, very difficult. But we can start doing the right things. It's been done in other countries. It can happen here. I thank you, and may God bless all of you. Remain prayerful for our country.
Your Excellency, your VP, can we get him on the platform? Can you help us?
I know eventually, it's not around now, of course. Okay. He's a pastor's friend. Okay. Of course, I can. He's my brother. I'm a very good brother. Yes, I can. Okay. I can comfortably.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Pastor.
Let's have other presidential candidates, but we'll talk about VP.
Yeah, sure. We are getting. It's our plan to get all the 20-something presidential candidates, and even before the campaign.
Well, you might not get the 20-something. You can get the first 4, 5, 6 that is likely to win, so that we can reduce the timing on everything. We've got 24 of them. We're not going to get people to vote for 24 of them. That is the reality.
Speaking about that, is there any plans to merge with other parties? You know, I know we are.
Oh, yes, we're doing that. We are talking to other parties and saying, well, listen, this thing you're doing here, or this is, why don't we come together? We're going to, I'm sure as the campaign goes on, it will happen. You know, campaign hasn't started. What we're doing now is trying to do. What I'm doing now is not campaigning, but I'm just being a candidate, being able to find and talk about issues. But like I said, if you're a candidate, you're like a pastor. You preach every day the same thing, and being able to see if we can change the Nigerian trajectory to make things work.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Your Excellency Peter Obi. We want to thank everyone that came on the platform today. There are over 50 names that are still raising their hands. We are not able to take their questions today, but we do hope, like Pastor said, that you will find time to come back sometime in future after we have spoken to some other candidates.
Yes.
And then at that time, the campaign will have started, things will have progressed, we'll be able to ask more direct questions. And Rest, you are right. The African Leadership Group, as a group, we are doing what we call the citizens' contract with candidates. Candidates will necessarily have to sign a citizens' contract. So like we're engaging you now, you make promise, or we tell you, you say you are going to do it, there will be timelines, you will sign that document, we will have a dashboard on the internet, which will be tracked. So as an NGO, we are working on that. You can be sure about that. So the time of making promises and saying, I forgot, is totally, you know, we are
totally. That's why they must speak directly to us. So yes, everybody will hear from their mouth. Let them come and tell us. If you say you went to this school, tell us which school with your mouth. If possible, call your classmates. We know you're there. If you say you this thing, anything you say, we'll want to record it. Don't go and tell nobody. Don't tell us that somebody did it for you. No. Everything has to be now. You're going to do power. Tell us, you know. That's why I said it doesn't good to write glossy papers. Britain is operating on written constitution. Yeah, people obey the law, obey the rules. But Nigeria, with a written constitution, people don't obey anything.
Okay, Pastor, close the meeting.
All right, no problem, Excellency. Thank you very much for coming. And I want to thank your wife for making it possible for you to be on the platform. Well done for what you're doing. And please also look after yourself as you go about campaigning. I want to thank everyone who has been on the platform, especially those who asked questions and made comments. Your questions and comments are noted, very useful. As Sonny said, we will have a contract with every candidate, and we will have a dashboard to track that candidate's contract with us. We don't want anyone in Nigeria now just to come and talk to us and not fulfill their promises. We're determined that we're going to have a greater and better Nigeria, and we're contributing our quota to that. If you know any candidate who is willing to come, please try and introduce that candidate and get them to come so that we can really have a robust discussion. Thank you all for coming. God bless you all. Have a wonderful rest of the week and a wonderful weekend coming. Nigeria will truly be great again. Excellency Peter Obi, God bless you. Take good care, and God be with you. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, bye.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was nice. You were muted. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Excellency. Next time.
Have a good night, everybody.